Here's the conversation that we're going to have about Miami. Miami is a high-octane offense. We understand that they have Tyreek Hill. We understand that they have Jaden Waddle. We understand that they have H. And they understand that we have all of these particular players there. But outside of those guys being effective, if they're not on their game or playing their style of football, the Miami Dolphins are a pretty average to below average football team. And where that starts with is the quarterback position. I've always said that Tua is a okay quarterback, but is he a $53 million quarterback? I don't think so. Did he get paid that amount of money? Of course he did. But for him to, sign that contract in the offseason and still don't understand the importance of sliding feet first. You're still doing reckless stuff when they paid you all of this money. You're now in concussion protocol, which means that you're not going to be available possibly for the following week. We don't know how long you're going to be out. That is supposed to be the leader of your football team. And if you're putting your team in a situation where now they don't know exactly when you're going to come back, that's one thing. The second thing that we really need to have a discussion about, this is my personal opinion. May not happen, but I've had other people echo the same opinion. I think it's time for Tua to retire. I think it's time for him to pack up and call it a day. We've seen what happened to him last year. They implemented this Tua helmet, right? This special helmet. It hasn't worked. You can't stop the brain from rattling around, especially if you have a history of concussions. Troy Aikman, Dallas Cowboys legend, had to retire because of concussions. Luke Kuechly, one of the best linebackers this game has ever seen, had to retire early because of concussions. The list goes on of players that could not play anymore because of concussion reasons. This is a quarterback. Now, the quarterbacks are protected more than ever. They are in a bubble more than ever. But there's also times where that quarterback has to go off script. He has to go ahead and rush. He has to go ahead and try to do things that are not going to keep him protected in that pocket. But every so often, they will get hurt. They'll get dinged up. But it seems to me that every time Tua has to do something and gets hit, he doesn't seem to get up. That's a concern if you're the Miami Dolphins. That should be a concern that you invested $53 million a year on a guy that had injury concerns prior to getting paid. Did you know that he would receive all of the $124 million if he was forced to retire? So they would literally have to eat all of that money. That's in his medical exception.
Yeah, it obviously works out for him, and I'm fortunate. Like, if he does have to retire, it's a sport he's played his whole life, but he's obviously set, doesn't have to worry about that. He has the guarantee in that, but also too, being the Dolphins, seeing the history with concussions, you know he's gonna get hit. You
Right.
know it's an option that it could happen again. So why take that risk? And especially his concussions, like you see how he is on the field, just um his motion's not going to be able to get back up right away, just being out of it. It's like a different type of concussion. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like one of the bad ones. You know what I mean? Rather than like, him walking off woozy, like he got the I don't want to do it, but you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It's like those are the real bad ones when you sleep and you still got your hands up in the air. You know what I mean? So the fact that they understood the risk of this, respect to them for being able to take care of the player, right? Like, we're not talking about that part of it, that they didn't really care about that. They bypassed that and still made sure that they guaranteed that because maybe they were thinking about this post-career. Maybe they were saying, hey, listen, we want to make sure that you're well taken care of if you don't play football anymore. That's commendable. But what does it leave your franchise in the next few years if he is forced to retire? You're now right back where you started looking for a quarterback. So, that's an interesting thing that I saw. But yeah, I truly want him to retire. I just want him to retire. I don't want to see anything bad happen to a guy that, you're seeing all of these signs already that he's not, I'm not going to say built for playing football, but once you catch a certain head injury, that doesn't go away without time to heal. Right? Wrestlers, it's a high impact type of situation. People like to say it's fake, but they get concussed. There's guys that have had concussion problems and they had to retire early. They've taken years to heal and come back. But the key word is they've taken years to heal and come back. I think Tua, if he's going to leave or retire, you may have to take a few years off and try to revitalize your career after that. But to continue to play and to continue to be a target and to continue to put yourself at risk just doesn't seem too smart for me. It really doesn't. The head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, Antonio Pierce, Giants player, my condolences, I'm sorry. But he said it, that he wants Tua to retire. There's a lot of people around the NFL that they're starting to get nervous now. Because it's like, how many more times do we have to see this happen to this individual player before we protect him from himself? At this point, everybody's on the hook. Everybody's liable. Miami doctors, the NFL, the head coaches, anybody who's a part of this decision making is responsible. God forbid if this guy becomes a vegetable, it's not going to look good for your brand. So it may not happen, but I think that there's going to be more people that are in his life, that are in his circle, that are going to try to nudge him in that direction. You may love football, but right now your body doesn't. And that's the biggest sign that maybe you need to step away.
Yeah, it's not worth the risk, especially he does have like a young family as well.
Right.
So.
Correct.
But yeah.
It's tough. It's tough, I'm sure, for him, but it's even tougher to see him have to go through that, because we've talked about this ad nauseum about about Tua. Like I said, I've never seen anybody have a fucking helmet designed for the we make sure just nothing happens. Well, fire those people, because you can't stop it. Brain ain't supposed to rattle around like that. It's not a natural thing to get hit and get hit by somebody who's strong and fast on a consistent basis. It's just not.